Thanks a lot, Mr. Shah, for joining in. First up, if you could, just simplify these transactions for us. How much revenue goes out of the company? What proportion of EBITDA goes out of the company? How much money comes into the company via this? And what is the resultant company's growth likely to be over the next couple of years?
Yeah. So we are contemplating, and board has decided to explore the possibility of monetizing full stake of Symphony in Climate Technology Australia and IMCO Mexico. Both put together, until 31st December, trailing 12 months, turnover was close to 350 crore. However, both put together, EBITDA was just about 3 crore. However, capital employed was in excess of 430 crore. So this is what going out. And if we exclude them, then our PAT, as it is where it is, increases almost by 11%, and EBITDA goes up by 12%, while capital employed comes down just to about 46 crore, which includes Symphony India, GSK China, Symphony Brazil, and exports from India. So first and foremost, from high capital employed, particularly in climate technology and to an extent in IMCO Mexico, it will be absolutely low capital employed, translating into ROCE percentage in high triple digit. That's number one. And number two, we wish to refocus top management time as well as bandwidth on much more growth-oriented and profitable opportunities. So in a nutshell, that's what the transaction is all about.
All right. Hi, Mr. Shah. Good morning and good to see you. And thanks for detailing those numbers for us. Now, a couple of quick questions. On IMCO, out there's a question mark. Why are you looking to sell this business? I understand the Australian business has been struggling from the time you acquired it. Turning around has been difficult. But IMCO was doing pretty well, right? Growth was coming about, margins were fairly decent, and it is more or less an asset-light business, just to break up both the two assets. So what is the rationale of selling the IMCO business? That's point number one. And point number two is, what is the total money you have spent on the Australian business as of now? I think the initial payment you made was around 220 crores. Then there was some loans, there was other expenditure as well. So what was the total cost? Two-part question. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So first and foremost about IMCO. IMCO, unlike Symphony India and GSK China, is highly working capital oriented business considering the nature of business itself. So as on 31st December, the capital employed is 87 crore. However, that is the lowest as on December end. When it comes to the March end or June end, normally capital employed is in the range of 110 to 125 crore. So vis-a-vis Symphony India and down the line what GSK China is going to deliver, still for us, it's a drag on ROC percentage. That's number one. Number two, as I said earlier, IMCO Mexico as well as climate technology is taking decent amount of top management bandwidth and time, which we wish to refocus even on a much better and higher growth-oriented opportunities. Number three, in last 3 years in IMCO Mexico, we had strategized whereby apart from new models of air cooler, many more new products have been launched, which includes air conditioner, washer, heater, etc. And they have reached a decent peak. And we believe that this is the time to have the optimum monetization in the interest of the shareholders.
So, Australian business, how much money had you put in there? Please go ahead, sir.
Sure. About Australian business, if we consider acquisition loan which has been availed from the bank, all put together close to 351 crore. But if we exclude that, then it's close to 280 crore vis-a-vis initial amount of 220 crore, because over a period of time, additional 60 crore has gone to fund the losses of climate technology and repay the acquisition loan.
Now, the most important question, sir, we've understood the rationale, we've understood how much you've invested in it. By when do you intend to sell these projects? And secondly, how much money are you likely to raise from the sale of these products? Because, this subtotal of this business, like you pointed out, would give you 354 crores of revenue, 3 crore EBITDA. It was net loss making at 12 crores. So what do you expect to monetize from this sale?
Sure. So first and foremost, in climate technology, as it is where it is, we expect in 1 to 2 years down the line, a decent turnaround story, as we achieved recently in GSK China and earlier IMCO Mexico. Secondly, we have already reduced these overheads to half vis-a-vis when we acquired. So we expect, based on future performance, apart from ready-made access to Australian market, branch of climate technology, team and products which have been completely now streamlined, it should be a good opportunity for a buyer. And considering that, we expect the valuation, exit value, difficult to convey at this point of time. As far as IMCO Mexico is concerned, it's decently profitable, and in last 3 years, it has registered 30% CAGR growth in terms of the top line as well as bottom line, and likely to pose that way with a new buyer. So accordingly, EBITDA decent multiple, we expect that. So post-board meeting, we have just formalized the investment banker and process has just begun. So about the time frame and exit valuation, I think it's too early to say anything in that respect.
I'm just doing a rough back of the envelope calculations. Your company right now, on the whole, is trading a little around 7 times sales and around 30 times, market cap to EBITDA. Would you expect your asset sales in Australia and Mexico to be in similar multiples? Would that be a fair assessment, or it could be lower because of these businesses being where they are?
See, in the interest of the optimum realization, I won't like to enter into any guesswork or put any figure at this point of time, even though to the investment bankers, we have done certain maths and we have worked out certain expectation, and they are aligned with that.
Mr. Shah, give us a sneak peek. Nothing wrong in wishing, right? What would be the ballpark number? Give us a very wide range. We'll take that. But nothing wrong in hinting at an aspiration. You already had a chat with the bankers. So let us in on that, right? A broad range, what would you be happy with?
You will appreciate that. That falls into UPSI. It jeopardizes the transaction. And obviously, once we have initiated the process, we will realize the optimum valuation. Not only that, also keeping in mind, we are exiting these two companies, not these two markets, because due to obvious advantages, new buyers will like to continue sourcing the products from Symphony India as well as China. That's number one. Number two, for some of the products, Symphony India brand is well known, and there is a possibility of Symphony India brand licensing. And number three, by releasing the bandwidth and time in current geopolitical environment, we are likely to have a decent opportunities directly exports from India to USA, Brazil, Middle East, and many other countries. And I think main international Chinese competitor cannot beat us now.
We take that point. Thank you so much for joining in. You've told us all you could. We've asked you all we could at this moment without landing you into any sort of regulatory soup. But we wish you good luck for this transaction, but more importantly, for summer season as well. We leave you with a promise of joining us back after your fourth quarter results to give us a lowdown on how that performed as well.